The subconscious part of the psyche is like a hidden part of the iceberg, the part hidden under the water. The subconscious is a totally autonomous system, and man cannot directly feel his subconscious. He cannot have a direct access to it. We can feel the subconscious in multiple ways. Through dreams, when we analyze the reality with the help of the subconscious, using astrology and the tarot, specific esoteric tools. The subconscious doesn't speak the language of words. It only understands the language of symbols. So when you try to convey something to your psyche at the level of the words, using the words, the subconscious simply perceives it as a noise. Why is this so important to us? When we work with the tarot, we connect with our subconscious. And to be able to read the tarot correctly, we need a coordinate system of symbols. Therefore, any work with the cards, whether it's a corrective or diagnostic work, always involves connection to the subconscious. Where does the information come from? Where does the tarologist get the information from? First of all, from his subconscious, of course, individual or collective. And here we repeat again one thing regarding symbols, that if a person does not master the coordinate system of symbols, the messages that she will receive from her subconscious through the cards will be distorted. Let's take the major arcana, taking out the cards from the Fool to the World, and let's put all the other cards between these two. We will see that the Fool is like the beginning of the path, like literally the beginning of a process. And the Arcana of the Universe indicates the end of the process. And notice that the Fool has a bag on his back. Sometimes it is drawn like a big pocket. We could fantasize a little bit and imagine, suppose that all the Arcana of the tarot deck are in this bag. And the Fool is walking and takes the seeds out of the bag, one after another. And all the Arcana of the tarot deck germinate from these seeds. The universe shows us the completion or the total integrity. It is the stage of the absolute reunification of all the Arcana. The Arcana 0 and 21 will always be interconnected, linked. The Fool contains potentially all the energies that exist. And we will say the same about the universe. All the other cards are different manifestations of energies. For example, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress. These are different facets of our Fool. The Tarot of Marseille, Le Tarot de Marseille, the standard cards of the standard poker deck are made precisely in the style of the Tarot of Marseille. It is a French school, and basically the very first known tarot deck is the 15th century Visconti Sforza Tarot. It is the first deck that was ever created and that has survived until our days. Maybe there were other decks that have not survived to our days. It's not impossible. We cannot know it. The Tarot of Visconti is made on the basis of the Tarot of Marseille. The Tarot of Marseille is considered today in the world of the Tarot as a classic of the classics. The worldview of this deck is quite patriarchal because we can see a very strong influence of the Christian myth with this orthodoxy and conformity in this deck. And the first point concerns the fact that the deck of Marseille shows rather that the man is totally dependent on the space, on the external environment, on the will of God. This can be noticed in the design of these cards. On the other hand, the interest that the Tarot of Marseille represents is that It reveals the origins of the tarot. If you compare it with different systems, with other systems and traditions, the Tarot of Marseille defines the base, the foundation of the tarot in general, and it concerns all the arcana. What interest does the deck of Aleister Crowley represent? The process of creating the deck took about 7 years. Each arcana of Frida Harris has been drawn several times. The deck of Aleister Crowley, or the Tarot of Thoth, was created at the end of Crowley's life, and in his deck he brings together, resembles all the systems, magical, religious, numerological, astrological, all the systems that exist. He combines alchemy, Kabbalah, numerology, Asian, Eastern and Western philosophies, and much more. At the same time, each arcana is drawn with a detailed accuracy. Every line, every little element, the range of colors in the Tarot of Crowley has a deep meaning. Therefore, the Crowley Tarot is the strongest tarot of all. It has a very powerful impact on the psyche. There is a group apart. The first one is the Erotic Tarot. Its specialization is the questions about relationships, because there is more sexual symbolism in these decks. Manara Erotic Tarot allows us to see the situation rather through the eyes of a woman, whereas Decameron Tarot allows us to see the situation through the eyes of a man. The dark decks, the Dark Grimoire Tarot, and Baphomet, the Tarot of the Underworld. The dark decks work with the dark subconscious, and they are useful for those who are engaged in Jungian collective unconscious, since these decks specialize in blockages, inner demons, complexes, showing the ugly side of our psyche, its flaws. These cards are essential for immersion in the psyche, for analysis and diagnosis. In total, we have 78 cards or arcana in the classic tarot deck. The arcana is translated as a mystery. There are two groups of cards, the 22 major arcana, designating global laws of the universe, archetypes, deep scenarios of the psyche, universal laws, and the 56 minor arcana. They are the numbered cards. The playing cards are the derivatives of the minor arcana: the clubs, the hearts, the diamonds, and the spades. They come from the minor arcana of the tarot. The minor arcana correspond to the material level of reality of everyday life. The interpretations learned by heart. There is such a tendency. You should not do it. Yes, there are books, manuals that I will give you. We have the meanings of the cards so that we can feel the symbolism. Take the arcana, the Empress. She embodies beauty, maternity, harvest. Do you mean that you will apply these significations everywhere? There are many meanings and interpretations for each arcana. We have to find the question and the answer to the question in the card. You must be able to see the central symbolism. At the initial stage of learning, it makes sense to refer to books, but it doesn't work in practice. I mean, when you interpret the spreads for yourself or for your clients, you don't consult the books or the manuals. Do not use notes, crutches, when interpreting spreads. You should practice in generating your own vision using associative thinking. They also say that the tarot refers to the lower astral plane, populated with harmful entities. They say that you will pay a price for consulting the tarot with health problems, or that you won't be happy in love, etc. At the dawn of Christianity, and the tarot was born as a derived product of Gnostic Christianity, the tarot was used everywhere and by everyone. For this reason, we see a lot of Western Christian symbolism in the design of the early decks of the tarot. Modern Christianity has a very negative attitude towards almost everything: the tarot, astrology, even psychoanalysis. When a person starts thinking, that does not suit the church, because the church doesn't want to see in man a thinking being, a being who thinks, who analyzes, who reflects. Because if the man uses esoteric instruments in his spiritual quest, in the quest for truth and God, then he risks reconsidering religion. And that is the last thing that the church wants. Simplify the question as much as possible without looking for supreme meanings. In order to practice, look first at the events of the past, at the events that you know, so that you learn to see how the tarot describes this or that event. Do not go directly into the future. Study, master first the language of tarot. The tarot card of the day allows you to observe the synchronicity. You can pull out the card of the day in the evening to see the symbolism of the events that occurred during the day, so that there is no involuntary programming. Or you take out the card of the day in the morning and you open it in the evening.